It's important to be able to spot fallacies. Hi, how are you? I'm the Amateur Logician from amateurlogician.com. Together, let's take a sneak peek at a book on logical fallacies. And that's Fallacy, The Counterfeit of Argument by W. Ward Fearnside and William B. Holther. Now, all of us have to make an effort not to engage in fallacious argumentation. We should never intentionally mislead someone with a bad argument, but also learning about the fallacies, I think, is a matter of self-defense. We don't want to be fooled by another person's bad argument. It may look good. It may even have a conclusion we agree with, yet it might be totally fallacious. How many times do we hear an argument that has a conclusion we agree with, but don't actively try to think about if that conclusion is justified with the given premises? Logic is normative. It's about how we ought to think. Flipping things around, it's likewise about how we ought not to think. Here's one of my recommendations. It's a great book. It's an old book, but very good, readable, has many exercises, examples, and that's Fallacy, The Counterfeit of Argument by W. Ward Fearnside and William B. Holther. Let's take a look at the table of contents. Let's open the book up, and we shall see that Part 1 deals with material fallacies. We have trouble with propositions, trouble with constructions. For instance, the authors talk about faulty generalization, hasty generalization, unrepresentative generalization, faulty causal generalization, post hoc reasoning, faulty analogy, the fallacies of composition and division, all or nothing mistakes, and false dilemmas. One part of traditional logic deals with constructions and classification schemes, but we have to avoid faulty classification such as non-exhaustive classification or non-exclusive classification, etc. Part 2 is on psychological fallacies. We have emotional colorization, misusing authority, stirring up prejudice, for example, ad populum arguments or ad hominem arguments with personal attacks. With emotional colorization, we can think about emotive language, but also rationalization and lip service, special pleading, having it both ways, and so forth. We can think about cultural bias and the gambler's mistake, also known as the gambler's fallacy. There's also diversions like humor and ridicule, or pointing to another wrong, or nothing but objections, impossible conditions, or the abandonment of discussion. Part 3 is on logical fallacies, logical truth, validity. Here we can make a distinction between so-called formal fallacies and informal fallacies. For example, the undistributed middle term is a formal fallacy. But also we can think about such things as general non sequiturs or ambiguous terms, amphibologies, circular definitions, and question begging. A part of traditional logic is about defining terms. What's a good definition? What's a bad definition? A bad definition, for example, would be circular. Also, we have misuse of etymology and idiosyncratic language. Now, pages 173 to 211 deal with exercises. And there are many in this book, which I highly recommend you go through, at least a little bit. Now, if you look at this book, often you'll see, for example, an example listed, and then a comment. Okay, so the authors will comment on the example, talk about why the example commits one or more fallacies. And my advice is to read the example, pause, and think about it yourself, and then read the comment. You might have missed something. Moreover, oftentimes the authors will add new insights that you didn't think about before. That's certainly true with me. These authors have given me new insights into the fallacies. Logic is not a spectator sport, so exercises are very important. So all the major sections have exercises, spotting fallacies or thinking about classification schemes, creating classification schemes, and so forth. So it's quite a good book, and if you've read it before, let me know. Tell me what you think in the comment section below. You can purchase this book through Amazon. I have a link in the description of this video. If you buy, let me know. And please tell me what you think about this book. If you want more recommendations, go to my website, amateurlogician.com. If you want to learn traditional verbal style logic, I have an extensive tutorial on the trivium logic. I would appreciate that. Appreciate you checking it out, that is to say. But in any case, thanks for watching this video, and be well.